Houston cleans up on all of the self-harming plays, played complementary football to win their first game of the season, powered by none other than rookie running back Woody Marks.
You are Locked On Texans, your daily podcast on the Houston Texans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Battle Red Nation, from H-Town to your town. Today's episode and every episode of the Locked On Texans podcast is for Texan fans all around. We got dubs in the chat. We can all kind of breathe a sigh of relief as the Houston Texans avoid starting the season off 0-4. They're now 1-3 after beating their rival, the Tennessee Titans, on a day where we saw the offense get it started. Albeit late, they got it started. Today's episode and every episode is for the Locked On Texans everydayers from the Himalayas. And I can't wait to talk to y'all. Thank y'all for making me your Texans football analyst and credentialed media member, John Hickman, a part of your dailies, listens, and spins, your team every day. You know why I'm so excited? Because since training camp, my everydayers from the Himalayas notice I talk to y'all directly. Woody Marks should have been the Houston Texans starting running back from day one. So I'll dive all into that on today's episode, but we'll be diving into the closeout. Does it matter it was Tennessee? Does winning against Tennessee even matters? Or should we look at this like, hey, listen, maybe the Houston Texans can finally put it together. They were talking about stacking good days of practice in the offseason. Now can they stack good wins? Also, Stroud, what did you see? I had an opportunity to ask quarterback CJ Stroud about the touchdown to Jayden Higgins, and his response warrants us talking a little bit more about it. But DeMeco Ryans in the post-game press conference talked about just how playing complementary football led to the Houston Texans winning, pitching a shutout over the Tennessee Titans, 26-0. Now, some of y'all may feel like it's just the Tennessee Titans, but listen here. This is why I think this is important for us to talk about. Number one, the Houston Texans getting the dub on the season. They don't want to, we wanted to see them get a win, avoid going on 0-4 to start the year, and also get a win before going to Baltimore. But these are some of the important numbers from today. When I look at the converting downs, third and fourth down, the Houston Texans ended the day 9 of 18, going 50%. Best of the season to this point. 5.4 yards per play, 129 rushing yards. You guys heard me talk about, hey, listen, the Tennessee Titans defense will allow for running backs and teams to run on them, and the Houston Texans really was able to rely on, in the committee style, CJ Stroud got a little bit active. Woody Marks, of course, we will talk about. Nick Chubb, but they were able to rush for 129 on the ground. This is the number that I think we all should be jumping for joy, along with the third down and converting down numbers. 2 of 2 in their red zone trips. Now, getting to the red zone twice is enough to kind of jump for joy for a Houston Texans offense that rarely gets down there. But when they do get down there, they haven't been able to punch it in. So for the first time this season, the Houston Texans offense, 2 TDs in their 2 red zone trips, 0 turnovers, and the least amount of pressures allowed so far this season. For DeMeco Ryans, it was all about not necessarily breathing a sigh of relief, but more so, this is what he's going to bring back, not only to the media members and the fans, but to the team. When we play our brand of football, when we execute, when we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, this is how we can play. These are the results that we should expect. Hear from DeMeco Ryans.
It's not about getting a sense of relief. It's about when we go out and execute and play the right way, that's what it can look like. And so we've been there. We just haven't played clean football. The offense did a really nice job of protecting the ball today. We didn't turn the ball over. We took it away. Tommy punted the ball, outstanding, give us backed up opportunities. Emi did a great job of kicking it off. Our kickoff team covered really well versus a good returner. It's just about us playing complementary football and playing clean football. We did that today, and that's the result. And that's what we expect when we do things the right way.
That is what the expectation is when Houston does things the right way. And I got to tell you, the first 3 quarters of that game, it was unbearable to watch. I mean, I was in the press conference and I was like, can we please hurry up and end this game? But what was good to see, albeit against a terrible, winless Tennessee Titan team, what was good to see was Houston still worked at attacking what the opposing team is bad at. And I think that's on both sides of the ball. Again, I look at what they were able to do in terms of running the ball in the second halves through the first 3 weeks. We saw the Houston Texans stop running the ball, and that number decreased in every game from the Rams to the Buccaneers to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, mind you, the Houston Texans were in those games. The Houston Texans may have had a lead in that game, but they decided to move away from running the ball. The Houston Texans rushed for over nearly, I think, 18 times in that second half, still chirping at it, chipping at it, to get their offense into a flow. The run game helped open up the passing game. That also helped open up the play action game for Houston, where we saw C.J. Stroud go 4 or 5 on the day for a TD and nearly 50 yards in the air. So these complementary things that come together to help the offense play well. And then on the defensive side of the ball, and I talked about this. Okay, how can the Houston Texans pull away with a win? What are the Tennessee Titans doing bad that the Houston Texans can exploit? Well, we know that through 3 games, they averaged 5 sacks per game, right? Against the Texans, what did the Tennessee Titans do? They didn't do nothing differently. 2 sacks, right? 15-yard loss. They really did a they did a very good job of making sure Cam Ward did not have a stable pocket to live in. Cam Ward did not have a stable pocket to get his feet set in to deliver a throw. 10 of 26 on the day. 4.2 yards was the average. 1 interception, a QBR 27. They were not able to really get the ground game going because they played from behind. When you look at the receivers, 7 targets for the rookie Ayo Manor, 2 catches. Calvin really a non-factor for majority of the game, 2 catches for 30 yards. On the day, Cam Ward had 108 yards, passing yards. This was a team that, let's face it, they were in the same boat as the Houston Texans. The talent and the coaching for Houston won them the game, but it complemented the other side of the ball. We saw the defense go out there and make plays, and offensively, again, especially late in the third, when we got to the fourth quarter, where we saw Houston go out there and score 4 TDs, we saw both sides of the ball helping the other side out. And I think that through 3 games, coming into the game against the Tennessee Titans, that's what's been most frustrating to watch, honestly. The defense go out there and hold teams to 17 points, but then on the offensive side of the ball, they're living on Kaimi Fairbairn. They're living on under 13 points per game. That's why when you look at a DeMeco Ryans who mentioned that, we're close, and I asked him about that, but he was referring to being close in the games. But I asked him, you guys, when you close, was this close? He said, no, I was referring to how close we've been in games. And if you look at these games the Houston Texans have been in, 14-9 Rams, 2019, and they lose their game against the Buccaneers after going down there to score to get the Nick Chubb touchdown to get the lead. Then you look at the Tennessee Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguar game, 10-17. They've been a touchdown away in all of these games. Today, it felt like against the Tennessee Titans, again, albeit a bad defense, again, albeit a bad franchise altogether, and a quarterback that's going out there in this post-game press conference and saying, we are bleeping ASS. That's how bad and frustrating it is to see both sides of the ball come together and help each other out. I thought that was very important to see. Now, we got to talk about those rookies, those young men getting active back there, whether it was through the air, whether it was on the ground. For a lot of us, we've been screaming, hey, get the rookies involved. What does CJ Stroud see on the touchdown to Higgins? And also, we'll talk about, hey, listen, man, the conversation needs to be throughout this week. How many more snaps and carries will we see Woody Marcus get in practice in preparation for the Baltimore Ravens. We got more Locked On Texans talk on the opposite side. We are celebrating a Houston win. You've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula so you can get hard and go the distance. The effects last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, even for brunch the next day after church. You'll still have that confidence that you need. A little bit more mimosas, extend that confidence time, and boom! You're going to feel like the Texans pitching a shutout. That's what's going to happen. Ain't nobody going to move after that, right? The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and then prescribe your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rougiette, that's RUGIET.com, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for 15% off your first order. That's Rougiette, RUGIET.com. Promo code Locked On NFL. Make sure you use our code so they know we sent you. And also, Sundays are all about making your days more exciting. We work all week. We get to Saturday and Sunday. We want to have a calm but exciting day. And that's why I'm bringing to you the people that presents this show to you. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I love how quick Prize Picks is. You can make your lineup in under a minute. It's also fun to follow other players in the app and copy their lineups with one click. So if you're new and you're trying to figure out how the prospects work, just look at that feature where you can look at the other players, how they play, and copy their picks as well. And the new injury reboot bug feature is amazing. If your player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. Download the Prospect app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prospects, you know it's good to be right. Texan fans out there, listen here. My everydayers have heard me say this time and time again. But after the Sunday performance, where we see Woody Marks go out there, this is what Woody Marks is capable of, guys. Now, the numbers on the ground, 17 carries, 69 yards, 4.1 yards per carry, 1 TD with a long run of 18 yards. But the number 2 man for the Houston Texans in receiving yards after Nico Collins, which he set at 4 for 79. So L'Jarius Sneed's who comment? You know who he is now. Woody Marks, 4 catches, 50 yards with a long of 20. And that was on that screenplay to get Houston out of a bad long down situation, which actually ended up leading to touchdown. Woody Marks also with a receiving touchdown on the day. I think what was encouraging for me, like Ariante Ursery, looking at some of his numbers, he only allowed, I think, 2 pressures on the day. He had a better day for the Houston Texans. And so we talk about Rougiette and confidence. It's important that those young guys who Ursery's going to be out there, right? But some of these other younger guys continue to build their confidence with the opportunities that the Houston Texans are giving them. And for, through the first 3 weeks, wasn't a lot of opportunities for a receiver like Jayden Higgins. Wasn't a lot of opportunity consistently for Woody Marks. Though his opportunities week in and week out continue to increase, it was important for those rookies to leave a stamp on the game. When you look at teams throughout the league, rookies throughout the league, so far through 4 weeks, there's been a rookie throughout the league, especially those rookies that were in the same draft stratosphere where the Houston Texans were originally picking. DeMeco Ryans having a good season. Josh Simmons, a lot of people felt like Houston should have traded up for him. There's been some Luther Burden who got a little bit busy. He scored last week, and he's been slowly coming into his own for the Chicago Bears. Some of those players that were available around where the Houston Texans were picking, they've gotten active. And for Houston, it's been very up and down. We saw some good for Ariante Ursary, but it was a little bit rough for him, especially last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? It was a rough day for him. But nothing from necessarily Woody Marks consistently or Jayden Higgins consistently. So I like that for today. And I tweeted this before the game, right before the game started. One thing that I felt like was going to happen, and this is not like LeBron, right? But I felt like for the Houston Texans, I tweeted, I can see Nick Chubb starting the game, but Mark's having a bigger role as the game goes on. That was right at 11:30. And also coming into this game, I said, listen, I know the Houston Texans are playing the Tennessee Titans, but what is something that Texan fans would like to see? And for me, I wanted to see the Houston Texans offense score 3 touchdowns, something that we hadn't seen this year. And for C.J. Stroud, he hadn't scored multiple passing touchdowns in a game since Tennessee last year. But I love that we saw the first look at the impact these young guys can have. And so I'm going to highlight, like I've highlighted Woody Marks at this point. I think he did a great job. And I think moving forward, the Houston Texans should consider or just make it a priority to get him more snaps. But another guy that I thought played well today in his limited amount of snaps, he caught him a touchdown. We saw the rookie wide receiver, Jayden Higgins, 1 catch, 24 yards. He continues to be a big play receiver for Houston in terms of yards per catch. Today was at 24, 1 target only. He only was featured in 14 passing snaps. That has to change. But I asked C.J. Stroud, what did he see on that throw? And I really enjoyed his response. Here from C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, they were in man, and on film they show like this man where they go help, the best player, the best receiver. So I felt 50 was about to go help Neek, and so I just signaled in a route concept that I thought would work. And so yeah, we executed it very well. They did a good job of executing the route plan, but I just seen something and I called it and it worked. So it's gonna go that way sometimes. Sometimes it's gonna go the other way, but it's all about us. If we're all wrong, we're right, and I think that was that big thing there, and we were right that time and made them pay. So.
Number one, it's good to hear C.J. Stroud talk about the checks that he's making at the line of scrimmage. And I think what's so positive about that, guys, when we look at some of the struggles of the 2025 season, when we look at some of the moments where we see Houston going 2 for 9 on third downs, 2 for 9 on third downs, 4 for 15 on third downs, when we see Houston having the inability to get to the red zone and executing in the red zone, and then we go back to the offseason where the conversation and the talking point throughout the city of Houston in the local media and nationally, with Nick Caley coming over to the Houston Texans, coming from his LA background and his New England background, this is going to be an offense that's going to give more power and control to C.J. Stroud, right? And so first, DeMeco Ryans bigged him up a little bit in the press conference when he mentioned it. And then when I asked C.J. Stroud about it, I think it's important that we point out that the small details matter. The growth of what the offense is asking of C.J. Stroud, what Nick Caley is putting on the plate of his young quarterback who's faced a lot of adversity, whether it may be, what the defense is bringing, the pressure that the defense is showing, or whether it may be the Houston Texans shooting themselves in the foot, not playing complementary football, not executing like they're supposed to, right? So to hear CJ say, yeah, they showed us something, and I recognize it, and I gave Higgins a route that I thought would work, which, by the way, I think that's the same route. I want to say that was a slot fade, but I think that's his favorite route to throw. If we go back to his rookie season, that tour he went on, he was talking to Micah, and he gave his perfect lineup, and he mentioned that, oh, yeah, that slot fade going to kill him every time. I don't know if y'all remember that, but things like that where it's putting the onus back on C.J. Stroud, is giving C.J. Stroud more control on what he wants from his offensive playmakers. And then if we go back to early in the game where CJ Stroud should have hit Dalton Schultz on a seam route, he overthrows him and he knows it immediately. And it feels like, oh, wow, man, this game is going to get away from Houston again. They had their opportunity to punch it in. This is right outside the red zone. We know that they're not going to get to the red zone consistently. And when they do, they haven't shown us the opportunity, the ability, to lock it in. That throw to Dalton Schultz that he missed was similar to the throw that he hit with Jayden Higgins. And also that was similar to the throw that he hit with Nico Collins. So I thought it was important. I know it's important to point that out for a young quarterback that has been struggling with a new offense and trying to grab hold of what this offense is asking of him, and also the assignments of everybody else, to hear that quarterback say,
Yeah, they were in man. And on film they show like this man where they go help, the best player, the best receiver. So I felt 50 was about to go help Neek. And so I just signaled in a route concept that I thought would work. And so, yeah, we executed it very well. They did a good job of, executing the route plan, but I just seen something and I called it and it worked. So, it's going to go that way sometimes. Sometimes it's going to go the other way, but it's all about us. If we're all wrong, we're right. And I think that was that big thing there, and we were right that time and made them pay. So
that's the confidence speaking. That's a quarterback that read and reacted, saw what the front was, saw what the coverage was, know in the back of his mind what would beat this coverage, and trust. All this talk about, what Woody Marks did, and now I'm talking about CJ Stroud. Trust that Jayden Higgins, who got open on that play, I mean, he ran a good route, that he got open to make a play, secured the ball with his hands, and punched in a touchdown, his first of the year. I thought the offensive play calling at times was up and down, but you saw that the Houston Texans came out with the mindset of we're going to run the ball. And for the Houston Texans, it was important to see that when they got into some of those favorable downs to distance, they were able to execute. The playbook opened up a little bit more, but they were not scared to do the things that made them successful throughout the game and throughout the year to this point. Albeit 0-3 coming into the game, the Houston Texans, for the most part, have ran the ball pretty well. The opportunities in the second half and the volume has been up and down, but they've been running the ball for 4.2 yards per carry, 4.3 yards per carry, 4.1 yards per carry from their lead back today. They played a game plan. They had a game plan that they stuck to, and eventually it paid out for them. Now, when we come back, does it matter it was Tennessee? I don't think it should matter that it was Tennessee. As a matter of fact, I think that we should look at this and say they didn't get caught up in losing to a bad team. How can they build on this to take on another bad team? But first, ladies and gentlemen, I know that sometimes Sundays and Saturdays and Mondays and Fridays, sometimes those days need a little bit extra excitement. FanDuel can make it worth your while. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. Pick a bet, put $5 down on it. I got 5 on it. And if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something extra on the game. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into those stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com today to download the FanDuel app now and get started. And additionally, sometimes we get tired. Sometimes, we're at work or we're in the car driving to a soccer practice or a football practice and we get tired. But this is where 5-Hour Energy comes in. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar and zero crashes. What I love most about 5-Hour Energy, shots is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost whenever you need it. And I love how fast it kicks in, man. Sugar-free, too. I don't have to worry about crashing later at work. I mean, 5 Hour Energy does exactly what they say that they do, and that's help you get through your day. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get the flavors and favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in store or online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Locked On Texas listeners and viewers, I don't want to see a comment. It's just the Tennessee Titans. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it because the Texans were a winless team too coming into Sunday. Now, granted, two different franchises, two different coaching staffs, two different situations of receiver, two different situations on the defensive side of the ball. But they were having a hard time scoring points. Houston was having a hard time scoring points. The Baltimore Ravens are beatable. And I'm getting ahead of myself. The crossover this week is going to be fun with my man Kevin O. KO always does a great job, but it doesn't matter that it was Tennessee. Houston needed to win, and they kind of needed to win in that fashion. The Houston Texans, and even to a certain extent, still are a team that has operated in chaos. The roster hasn't been the best. The utilization and usage of their young guys has been inconsistent, or it hasn't been good at all. The pressure at times has still been able to get to CJ Stroud. And shout out to Kim Davis, who did a great job of asking CJ Stroud about his toughness. And he talked about how when he was young, he was playing basketball. He fell or got hit, but his dad was in the stands and made sure that he know all that crying and laying there don't mean nothing. And from that point, that's what helped him be a tough young man and eventually be a tough quarterback. And also, he made a joke that, hey, I work out. I lift weights. CJ is tough. But he stood in and took some hits, got back up. He faced adversity at 3rd and 20, hitting Nico Collins in stride down the sideline. Your quarterback is still a good quarterback. There's still things that he needs to work on. But I think because of the state of this franchise, because of how inept this offense looked through 3 weeks, it's good to see the Houston Texans win because they were able to score 3 touchdowns from their offense. We go back to 2024 in some of those games where they were scoring touchdowns because of their defense. And each week it felt like, the defense is going to show up, but the offense may not show up. And I get that. But I think that we can at least take this game and say, moving forward, there are pieces that need the opportunities to be more impactful for the offense. And we said it before the Tennessee Titans game. I know I did. But Juice Scruggs back at left guard. We should not see Laken Tomlinson again. Juice Scruggs is a better guard. And I said that back in training camp. They need to get Juice Scruggs out there a little bit more with the starters. Now through 4 weeks, and it kicked off last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, Juice Scruggs was featured in majority of the snaps for Houston at left guard. Okay, well, they can't get the ball, to certain guys. Coming into the game against the Tennessee Titans, Jayden Higgins had a 75% separation rate. It's the best in the NFL. You know what the problem was? And it still was a problem today. That 75% was so much of a sample size because he's only been out there for 13 passing snaps. against the Tennessee Titans, I think the number was 13 or 14. So he was out there for 39 passing snaps, through 3 weeks against the Tennessee Titans. I think it was 13 or 14. But he's not out there enough to have the impact. And you look at a 6'4" receiver who can run at 4.5. He needs those opportunities to be a big playmaker kind of guy. And again, Woody Marks getting it done on the ground for a touchdown when he dived into the end zone. In the air on a bootleg play action where C.J. Stroud found him. And I got to give a lot of credit to Nick Caley. This was a perfect game for Caley to calm down simply because I felt like throughout the game consistently there was an identity for Houston that we hadn't seen through 3 weeks. They came out and said, well, this team don't stop the run good. We're gonna run against them. This may be a 33-0 victory if CJ Stroud connects with Dalton Schultz and maybe another couple of throws as well. Beating Tennessee is important for Houston. It's important for their division run. They still got to compete in the division, which is where we're going to see them have their best opportunity to make the playoffs is in their division. And they still needed to see, it's like a shooter. You still need to see that shot go in. They still needed to see we can get to the red zone and have a competent offense. We can overcome. Now, we shouldn't have to overcome a lot, but we can overcome some of these long down situations if I have enough time to get the ball to my best playmaker outside, which is Nico Collins. We can't execute screen games. The screen can be a part of this offense, of the running back screen. We can execute. Seeing them execute and how they execute, now they have references to go back from. I can almost guarantee you, DeMeco Collins. Who? DeMeco Ryans is going to be in that film room. Look what we did here, guys. This is what I want us to do. If you don't believe that, I got another play. Look at what we did here. This is how I want us to execute. And Houston can beat the Baltimore Ravens. Thank you for watching and listening to today's episode. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. Until next time, ladies and gents, Texas fans across the nation, it feels good to go into Monday with a victory. Peace.